Hey, everyone. If you're listening to this, you're probably the kind of person who loves to learn new things.
Absolutely.
And I bet you're always looking for ways to get better at English.
For sure.
So today we're going to do a deep dive into a podcast that might just become your new favorite thing. It's called The Best English Podcast.
Yeah, and what really got me excited about this one is how they're like totally changing the game with learning English, you know?
Right.
It's these two hosts, Daniel and Sarah, and they're all about making it fun, like ditching the boring textbooks and stuff.
Yeah. No more like just memorizing grammar rules all day long.
Exactly. They want you to enjoy English, like actually look forward to learning it.
It's kind of like how you remember a line from a movie or like song lyrics way better than anything from a textbook.
Totally. They
Right.
actually use movies and music to teach you.
That's so cool. I've always thought that would be a way more interesting way to learn.
Me too. And, they even have you learn from real stories, too.
Oh, wow. So it's not just movies and music.
No, they believe that everyone has a story to tell, and those stories can be powerful tools for learning English.
I love that. It's like learning becomes so much more natural when it's tied to something you connect with.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about memorizing words anymore. It's about understanding how people actually use language in their everyday lives.
And I bet that makes it way more engaging
Yeah.
and way less like work, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're all about making it fun, remember? Daniel even said in one episode that learning English should be something you look forward to, not dread.
I love that philosophy.
Yeah.
And Sarah added that they want to make it easy and enjoyable for everyone.
Yeah, and it's not all just about having fun either. They actually back it up with really effective techniques.
Oh, for sure, that they're not just messing around.
Right. Like one guest they had on was a musician, and she talked about how she actually learned grammar by memorizing song lyrics.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's
Well, it's like you're picking up the language without even realizing it.
I know, right? It's like it's just seeping into your brain through osmosis or something.
I love that. So I've got the fun part down, the effective techniques down, and get this, they also bring in all these really inspiring guests.
Oh, yeah. They have guests from all over the world who have learned English in all sorts of different ways.
So it's not just about hearing from experts, it's about hearing from everyday people who've been there and done that.
Exactly. Like they have travelers who picked up English while backpacking professionals who needed it for their careers, even artists who use it to express themselves.
It's like having a global community of English speakers cheering you on.
Yeah. You get to hear firsthand how they overcame challenges, what strategies worked for them, and how they ultimately became fluent.
It's so motivating to hear those stories.
It is. And what's really cool is that they emphasize that there's no one right way to learn English.
Right, like what works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly. They encourage you to find what clicks for you and to adapt the techniques to your own learning style.
I think that's so important because we all learn differently.
We do. And they don't just focus on the mechanics of the language either.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say they realize that to really master English, you've got to understand the culture behind it, too.
Right. And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, so tell me more about that.
Well, they delve into all these fascinating areas like British humor, for example.
Oh, man, British humor is a whole other world.
It is. And then there's American slang.
Yeah.
All these little expressions that can be so confusing if you're not familiar with them.
I know, right? Like, what does it even mean to spill the tea?
Haha, exactly. And they even talk about the differences between British and American English, which can be tricky sometimes.
Yeah, is it color or color?
Right. So many little things to keep track of, but they break it all down in a way that's easy to understand and really interesting.
It's like they're giving you the keys to unlock this whole new level of understanding.
Exactly. They're helping you to not just speak English, but to really connect with the culture and the people who speak it.
And that's what it's all about, right? It's about communication, connection, and really understanding each other.
Absolutely. And I think the Best English Podcast does a fantastic job of capturing all of that.
I agree. They've really created something special here, and I can't wait to dive even deeper into what they have to offer.
Me too. And
Yeah.
they really emphasize that, language is more than just words on a page.
Right.
It's like a window into a culture.
Yeah.
And they really believe that to truly master English, you have to understand the cultural nuances.
Yeah, it's like if you try to understand a joke from another country without knowing anything about their culture,
Right.
you might get the words,
Yeah.
but you won't get the humor.
Exactly. And they actually break down these cultural quirks like British humor,
Oh, yeah.
American slang, all those things that can be really confusing for language learners.
Especially those idioms.
Oh, man, those
Cheating
idioms.
cats and
Yes.
dogs.
I know, right? Who comes up with this stuff?
But they don't just explain the meaning. They actually go into the origin and the cultural context, which makes them so much easier to remember.
Yeah, it's like they're giving you a secret decoder ring for English.
I love that.
Mm.
It's like you're not just learning the language, you're learning about the people and the history behind it.
And what's really cool is that they actually involve their listeners in the learning process.
Oh, yeah, they're big on listener interaction.
Huge. They encourage feedback, and they even take suggestions for future episodes.
So it's not just a one-way street.
No, it's like a conversation.
Yeah, there's a community.
And they've even said that sometimes listener questions actually shape the direction of the show.
That's so awesome. It's like we're all learning together.
Exactly. It's a collaborative journey.
And they're really open about what they're working on, too. Like they've already teased some upcoming episode themes.
Oh, really? Like what kind of stuff?
Well, they're planning on doing an episode about building confidence in speaking.
Oh, that's a good one. A lot of people struggle with that.
Right. And they also want to do one on learning English through movies.
Oh, I'd love to hear that one.
Yeah, me too. And they're going to do an episode on overcoming the fear of making mistakes.
Which is so important. Everyone makes mistakes. It's part of learning.
Exactly. And of course, they're going to have that special episode all about idioms.
Yeah, wait for that one.
So they've really thought of everything. And I love how they wrap up each episode. You know, it's not with like a hard sell or anything.
Yeah.
It's with this really genuine encouragement and a thought-provoking question.
Yeah, they always leave you with something to think about.
Exactly. They summarize the key takeaways, and then they hit you with this question.
What is it?
It's, what are some unconventional ways you enjoy learning languages? And how could you apply those to your English studies?
Wow, that's a good one. It really makes you think.
It does. It makes you think about what works for you.
Mm.
You know, because there's no one-size-fits-all approach to learning.
That's so true. Everyone learns differently.
Yeah. And then they really want you to find what clicks for you and to make the learning process your own.
I love that. It's about making it personal and enjoyable.
Exactly. And they even hint at future deep dives into other topics, so the conversation never really ends.
They really get that learning is a journey.
It is. It's not a destination.
And I think they do such a great job of capturing that spirit.
I agree. And I think that's what makes the best English podcasts so special. They're not just teaching you English.
Right.
They're helping you to fall in love with it.
Yeah, they make you want to learn.
And that's what it's all about.
They really do. And it's so refreshing, you know, because so many language learning resources out there are just so focused on the technical stuff.
Yeah.
All those grammar rules and vocabulary lists.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
It is. But this podcast understands that language is about so much more than just memorizing words.
Right. It's about connecting with people and culture.
Exactly. And I think they've found a really great balance between being educational and entertaining.
Oh, yeah. They definitely don't shy away from the complex stuff.
No, they don't, but they always manage to make it fun and engaging.
Like they actually make you want to learn.
Right. And they do it by weaving in those real-life stories and cultural insights and even those funny idioms.
Which makes it so much more memorable.
It does. It's like they're giving you all the tools you need to not just speak English, but to actually understand it and appreciate it.
And to use it to connect with other people in a meaningful way.
Exactly.
So if you're serious about improving your English and you've maybe tried those traditional methods and haven't really gotten the results you want,
Yeah.
I really think the best English podcast could be a game changer for you.
I agree. It's such a unique approach, and it could be just what you need to take your English to the next level.
And as you continue on your English learning journey, we'll leave you with this final thought.
Yeah.
What are some things that you're passionate about that you could incorporate into your language practice?
Yeah, think about your hobbies, your interests, your unique personality.
Because the most effective learning is the learning that you enjoy.
Absolutely. So find what works for you, embrace the journey, and who knows, maybe someday you'll be sharing your own English learning success story on the Best English Podcast.
That's a great goal. And that's it for our deep dive into the Best English Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.